So for objective 5, it says rewrite this thing as a single logarithm. I think I told you guys that this sheet, as long as it doesn't have any extra stuff on it, will be able to be by your desk during the test. All right. So hopefully that's helpful. It's full of formulas and things. So again, I'm looking at this going, it's a sum of two logs, so I'm going to use this rule. But then I have these other numbers out front, too, that I'm going to have to address. Okay? So for number 15, I'm going to put that up here, so I didn't give you a lot of workspace. Okay? First thing I'm going to do is bring these back to the exponent position. And so that would be the natural log of b to the 7th plus the natural log of c to the 3rd. Okay. So you want to bring those numbers to the power position first. Okay. Then we do have a sum of two logs, natural logs, so we're going to write that as the log, or the natural log, of plus change to multiply, so b to the 7th times c to the 3rd. And that would be my final answer. Natural log of b to the 7th times c to the 3rd. Okay. Number 16, again, I mentioned that we did some worksheets the other day, and these two were on the worksheet or something very similar. Number 16, a little longer process, but we want to write this without logs or exponentially. Okay. So to do that, I'm going to take, remember natural log is base e, so it's e to this power, now this is a big old power, we're going to have to work on that, equals y. So my first step for 16 will look like this. E to the 1.163x plus 1.39 equals y. Now you want to keep asking yourself during this process, does this equation look like they want it to look? It's really close, but we have one base to a power that has a plus in it rather than the two bases where one has a power. So this is where we're going to use this rule. When you have a power that's a sum, you can split it into two pieces that are multiplied. Okay? So we're going to split this into e to the 1.163x times e to the 1.39. So again, it's getting closer to that y equals a times b to the x part. Okay. Now we're all said and done, except for really this is just a number. And since it's a number with no extra variable power, this would be what our formula calls a. So that's going to be our a number. And then you see how this is a number, but we do have the x there, like the b to the x thing. So this part's b. So we just are going to calculate those numbers. All right. And the y is on the other side all by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and leave y on the other side all by itself. And then again, I'm going to type in my calculator e to the 1.39. And round that to about 4.01. And again, that's the value of a. Okay. And then notice there's a times there. I need a times here. And then here's my b part, e to the 1.163. And then I'm going to make that to the x power. So type in e to the 1.163, and what should I call it? 3.2? 3.2 to the x. Again, see how that part still has the x. So here's my y, here's my a, here's my b to the x. And then number 17, we have an equation that doesn't have any logs in it, but it asks you to write it in terms of log A, log B, and log A, log C, and log D. So there are no logs in there, so we got to put them in there. The way to do that is to just put one on each side to start with. So like we can only take one out on each side, we can only put one in on each side. So it's going to look like this. Log of A equals the log of C cubed over D. Okay. And I mentioned when we were doing these on the worksheet that some of you guys can probably jump right to the answer, but my job is to show you all the steps, so I'm going to do that. But if you can take leaps and you know what the answer is already, go ahead and leap. All right. But log A, we're going to leave that alone. And then this, again, according to my sheet, this is the log of a quotient. My sheet says that I can rewrite a log of a quotient as subtraction. So I'm going to rewrite that as log of c cubed minus log of d. We have one more step, because notice it doesn't say log of c cubed, it just says log of c. So the only one more step is that I want to bring this down in front. Okay? And then my final answer would be log of a equals 3 times the log of c minus the log of d. Again, that's my final answer. Log of a equals 3 log of c minus log of d. Okay. And the last one for this objective asks you to simplify the 6th root of x to the 12th and y to the 5th. Okay. Now, there are a couple ways to show you how to do this, but this is the way I like the best. Again, on my formula sheet, it reminds me that if I have the 6th root of something, that's like raising it to the 1 over that power. So I'm going to rewrite this as x to the 12th, y to the 5th, the quantity, to the 1/6 power. Now, technically that's without a radical sign, but I do want you to simplify it. So if you can simplify it, please do that. Again, another exponent rule. When I raise a power to a power, I multiply the powers, right? So if we multiply those powers, 12 times the 6th, that's the same as dividing 12 by 6. So that would be x squared. And y is not going to look quite as nice because 5 times the 6th is just 5/6. I can't change that to a nice number, so I'll just leave it y to the 5/6. Okay. So again, that idea of understanding that radicals are just written as 1 over that number.